Can I help you?
Special Agent Kirby Reed, FBI. I work out of the Atlanta office.
You lost?
Your two Vics were residents of my city before they moved here for college. I have been investigating their online activity for the past few months.
Why?
I take a special interest in Ghostface attacks.
Come on, Mike. Get up out of there.
This whole place is empty.
So, come on, let's go home.
Look at this, goddammit! And that's the third one I dug up. Now, does that strike you a little strange, Riggs, that every single corpse in this entire graveyard's missing?
Well, what do you want, Mike?
I want to stop him.
It's all that. That story about me blowing up my own house because it was infested with midgets. Mike, that wasn't real.
Chris Gousley here with
Matt Howell. And this week on the first run, we check out the latest from David Robert Mitchell is about to switch his first and middle names with The End of Oak Street, a dinosaur romp starring Anne Hathaway and Dave phoning it in, Ewan McGregor. Then we're gonna give
Whoa.
then, I don't know what happened to Ewan. Something, I think since he's married to Mary Elizabeth Winstead, he's just completely content, and his acting performances have been unimpressive, uninspired, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, but we'll get to that. And then Chris will...
Well, I should say, I like to cut you off too. Last week, I referred to, I think, David Robert Mitchell as John Cameron Mitchell. And then so we were seeing like the Fruitvale Street movie.
Right.
So I totally whiffed on
That's
that.
okay. That's all right. So we're both 2 for 2 for Mr. Mitchell's name. So then after that, Chris will give you the breakdown of the big physical media releases for the coming week. And I think we're going to talk a little bit about some other news that has come out in the so important MCU, right? That's what we got on. Oh, yeah.
Sure.
All right, so why don't you give us a bit of The End of Oak Street, Chris, please?
I think that our neighborhood has moved. We're in the past, aren't we?
How the hell is that even possible?
What are we gonna do?
We're gonna survive.
They're going to survive, Matt.
So, Chris, why don't you tell us what this movie's about?
Sure. So Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor are parents. They're a married couple. I think we could safe to say on the verge of a divorce. They have 2 young kids. The film is set in 1982. And one day, well, there's little hints and flashes of something maybe wrong in their neighborhood. And then one day they wake up and their entire neighborhood has been transported back millions of years into the past. And they are now trying to survive a dinosaur attack and figure out a way to get home.
All right. That's very succinct and to the point and very accurate as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, Chris, when
Off the dome. No
off the
less.
dome. So, what do you think of this? I mean, in the sense of, do you feel like I do in that there was a much nuanced, maybe rougher, maybe a little nastier film than this, even though this does have some nasty parts in it that was sanded down quite a bit to get it down to its hour and 30-minute running time and happy Spielberg ending?
That's interesting, because the way I looked at it when I watched it is for The End of Oak Street, or as I like to call it, Anne Hathaway has a shotgun.
It's a rifle, Chris. It's not a shotgun.
I thought you had a shotgun at one point.
The librarian
it's
had a
a shotgun.
shotgun when she busted. Yeah,
Okay.
she had a shotgun.
I don't know why you got to ruin everything for me. So, how about this? Anne Hathaway has a
But
gun.
there you go. Let's go. And he's got a gun.
That's right. So, yeah, I think that we are specifically creating this nostalgic 1980s kids in danger kind of movie, a genre we don't really see that much of anymore. And for the whole time I'm watching, this is very, as Matt said, very Spielbergian at times, and possibly I would think the best Jurassic Park kind of film we've seen in 20 plus years. But there are moments of Gunnian ultra violence that kind of swing in out of nowhere that I think, because I'm watching this, I'm like, every 5 to 10 minutes, I have to adjust the age appropriateness for this movie. Because I think, all right, well, this is okay for kids. All right, maybe now we're in like 12, 13. Well, okay, now we're about 15, right? It kind of continues to ratchet up the violence. And there's one particular moment that I think is kind of truly unsettling. And I think it bothers me in the rest of the film because then we lose what, at least again, what I thought the movie was going to be, which of course is not something I can really hang on Mitchell. I don't know if that's a fair thing to do, but I was seated for what I thought was a particular film that turned into something a little different, though it kind of does swing back around to that as well by the end of the movie, right? Particularly with its ending, which I kind of want to talk about at the end because I don't quite think how the ending works. Then the whole, I think, film falls apart. But I guess it's one of those things you can't think too hard about. But yeah, I didn't thought of it that way. Is that maybe he was making a more intense film that got kind of trimmed down, but that moment kind of snuck through? I don't know. That's an interesting way to look at it. I don't know. I think he's going for me at capturing the feel of those classic 80s films, ramping up the carnage slowly, then it turns unsettlingly violent. But I still think that there is a lot here to enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot here to enjoy. I just think I like to call this genre kids on bikes, right? So it's definitely got that sense, and you can tell that's what it was inspired by. And I believe, obviously the kind of very graphic deaths in this, but especially that one that Chris is referring to was out of left field, and I was like, wow, I really was on.
Yeah, they're gonna go.
Yeah,
there.
I was like, yeah, that was. Yeah, I was
yeah.
like, wow, that is a crazy good swing there, and I was not expecting that at all, right? But I think there's more to it in the sense of the relationship aspects of it, right? Like, I think Anne Hathaway was maybe supposed to be a little more rough, maybe a little more complicated, and they kind of sanded her down a little bit. I think, Ewan McGregor's character is basically just a nothing, right? I mean, he kind of comes around into his own later in the film, but he's always so, I don't know, so passive, right? And I think like you can do that, but not make it seem so inexplicable, right? I mean, I just wanted him to tell Anne Hathaway while she's yelling at him that, they need to be realistic. Like, why wouldn't you want to tell your kids to be hopeful? Like, why would you want them to be crushed under this? I wish he would have just said some of that shit. And he doesn't, right? So, and then you've got the whole, the young boy who's lashing out and maybe he's really violent. Mm-hmm. And you've got the baby lesbian and the daughter and all that kind of stuff. And all of that's kind of circling around in the periphery, right? And it's like it's all kind of like barely touched on, and it feels like there was a lot more there that would have made all that stuff more impactful.
I love the term baby lesbian. No, I think here's the thing. I think Matt is hitting on something, though. I think you and I kind of got two different things out of it. The core of the film, and I think why it works is as successful as it was for me, is because the core of the film is basically the relationships between these people in this family that then just happen to be dropped into this insane situation. But Mitchell's focusing on the family. I think the beginning of it, when we're seeing the inner struggle and the strife between the marriage, between Hathaway and McGregor, I think Matt's right. Hathaway's character is more, listen, they're both kind of stuck. And I guess there's a feeling that their lives have not turned out the way they wanted to. They're very happy that they love their children, but their marriage is dissolving, and the goals and maybe the dreams that the both of them had individually or perhaps even together have kind of not worked out. Hathaway is still chasing something, but keeping it from the family because, I don't know, she's embarrassed, or even, again, you got to remember, this is 1982. This is not 2026, all right? There are different social mores and different things happening at that time when it comes to family dynamics. When women couldn't have credit cards without their husband's approval, I think until 77, 78, something like that, right? So, and then I think McGregor, I think Matt is right. He plays this kind of eternally positive and emotionally immature kind of stunted husband. He's a good dad, but he's not a good parent, I think is the difference, right? And Hathaway is more mature and she's the adult in the relationship. She's the parent. And I think, by the time the film wraps, they I reconnect and remember what they loved about each other and how strong a family unit they are. So I think Mitchell's a good job of kind of bringing that all back home. But I think that I agree with you that McGregor's arc seems a little more kind of rushed and almost feels like maybe there's something missing. Hathaway's does not for me. And I would hate to sacrifice, I think, what I think is an incredibly well-paced film, maybe, for that. Maybe there'd be a minute more of McGregor to give him a little more time to flesh himself out a bit. But I think they do a good enough job establishing who he is as a character, as a person, as a husband and a father. This is Hathaway's film, I would say, too, from the jump, right? She is the lead in this movie for various reasons we'll talk about. But, yeah, it didn't bother me that much because the film is so well paced.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. This is Hathaway's film. I thought she was great in this. I think it really just brings into sharp relief whatever the hell it is that Ewan McGregor's doing. Like, and I don't know if that's intentional, if that's the direction he got or whatever, right? But, he can't keep up with her, and it's not like he's a bad actor, right? I mean, we know he's not. So I don't really know what was there, right? But I think, go back to your earlier point, I think the reason she was keeping what she was doing secret is because it was obvious to everybody but her. And if anybody looked at it, they were going to see what she was really feeling and what she was really thinking. Right. And she was too terrified because she didn't even want to admit that to herself, right? And
part of it is, yeah, I guess I think greater. Yes, she's probably having those things, but it doesn't mean you're going to act on them, right? A lot of times when people work through their art, they are trying to work through some inner turmoil and things. Doesn't mean they're actually going to necessarily act on it, or what they represent on the page or on the painting, on the canvas. That's not maybe a true representation of their core being, but more an extrapolation and exaggeration maybe of an emotion, of a feeling, of a feel.
Yeah,
but,
I think you're right, I guess, but when your marriage is falling apart and, when your neighbors are reading this thing or picking up these cues and what you're putting down, right? I mean, you have to at least explain it, right? You have to at least say that and admit it. But anyway, I digress.
True.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, I think this thing is really, really well done. I was, again, like Chris, shocked by the amount of peril. There's hairy, feathery dinosaurs, which is a nod to how we think that they really look now. So that's something.
Well, which is great, right? I love the fact that we get a more accurate depiction of what these monsters would have actually looked like. And then I would double that with the fact that the effects, I think, are really good in this. I think the creatures, the dinosaurs, look very real. The effects and the environment around them looks great. There's maybe one scene or two, like when they see a potential wormhole open up across the neighborhood that maybe looks a little sketchy, green screeny animated type thing, right? But independent of that, I think when we're in the ground, when we're in the neighborhood, everything looks real.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's one of those tight little horror B movies that's like a little gem, right? It's going to have its own legs. I don't know if it's going to do a ton of money, but it's going to, people are going to talk about this. They're going to like it. You and I are going to buy it, right? And we'll have it, and it'll be something that's fun. I forgot what I was going to say. There was one more point I wanted to make, but I forgot it.
I'm sorry. I jumped in front of you. I cut you off a few times.
It's okay. I if I think of it, I'll interject back in. But otherwise, yeah, I thought this was a really, really good, fun dinosaur movie with some brutality in it that I was not expecting. Oh, that's what it was. You'll be happy to know that.
Happy.
You'll be happy to know that Robert David Mitchell, or God, I did it again. David Robert Mitchell. He against all odds does not let the dog die, but he must really hate cats because he is killing them left and right in this film.
So yeah, we danced really close to pup harm in this a few times, but I think he does a good job. And listen, it had me upset and nervous the whole time, right? Which I guess is what he's going for with that. But yeah, the dog makes it through, thankfully. And I think that's a rule for Hathaway. I read something like briefly about like she'll be in movies if the dog is in peril, but I guess nothing really bad is supposed to happen. Which we're simpatico, I guess, on that. So that's good. But yeah. But cats, like Matt says, whatever.
Yeah, no, as the cat person, I feel like it was very unacceptable to just have felines being killed left and right.
So look at this. This is Hathaway's year. Mother Mary, which I have not seen yet, but it's on my list. Devil Wears Prada 2, which I watched. Mrs. First Run was a big fan. She loved the first one too. The Odyssey, Now the End of Oak Street, and then she has another film coming out, Verity, this year. She has 5 films in 2026.
Wow. I wonder how long some of these have been sitting on the shelf ready to go.
I don't know. And then they did announce too she's doing Princess Diaries 3, which is kind of fun for her. And I should say too, I think a while back we had mentioned, or at least I had mentioned, that David Robert Mitchell's It Follows sequel was basically ready to go, and we're wondering what was happening. They haven't even shot that yet. Yeah, it's now not supposed to start filming, I think, until late this year, early next year. So I thought it was something like the studio was sitting on, and now they're releasing this instead. No, I was wholly wrong about that. So, but I think Matt and I both are really, really excited to see that when it eventually drops. So, all right, just briefly, I don't know how spoiler you want to get. There is a character who sacrifices himself or themselves. There you go. So that the family can escape. But then they work things that allow them to save this character once they get home. How does that work? Because if this character doesn't do what they do to save them, then they're not saved.
It seems to me like...
So then how do they get back to stop? Once they get through that one time, they're okay?
Yeah, I think what they're doing is they're doing the whole Avengers school of time travel, where when you go back and change something, you've basically created a branching timeline. And so when they save that character, and theoretically the rest of them all go back, right? Their timeline doesn't exist anymore because he went back with them, right? But he didn't this time. So I think it's basically you've created an alternate timeline, and you're following the one that's at the end there.
And interesting too, because there's another character that the family comes across that they take in, another neighborhood child, and she goes to save her family, and then her and her doppelganger show up.
Right.
Or the other version.
Oh, is that what it was? So, I thought it was a sister. Okay.
No, I thought it was just because they didn't show a sister anywhere prior in the film. So my only assumption is that there's the version that got out, and then the version that she saved, which I guess is probably easy to convince your family that you survived a disaster if you're talking to yourself as well in the room.
Fair enough. All right.
I don't know. All right. I was kind of thinking about that like last night. I couldn't wrap my head around that.
Yeah.
But I'm not that smart. I'm mostly eye candy on the show.
The part that I couldn't wrap my head around is how did she tell all those other people? But then I guess they had like 20 minutes, I guess. So I guess she made the first call, and then she made a bunch of other ones.
Would you leave if your neighbor called you and said, "Hey, Matt, we're about to be transported back to the Cretaceous period, or some dinosaur period. You need to drive basically 30 minutes away from your house, like right now." Would you be like, "All right, this is late at night. This is 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
You getting in the old Winnebago and heading out?"
I guess if she sounded panicked enough, it doesn't sound like she said that there were dinosaurs coming. She was just saying, you got to get up into the hills. Don't ask me why. Just get in your car and go, I think is what she was.
You know what I would do? First off, be lucky that you picked up the phone at that time of night.
Very true. Because
how many people actually answer? Well, it's 1982.
That's true.
1982.
That's true.
Not now.
Yeah.
But I would say, hey, listen, my car's broken down on the Santa Monica freeway or whatever, right? I've just pulled off. Can you come pick me up?
Right.
That would get me out.
Yeah,
if
that's
a neighbor
true.
called and said they needed help.
That's true. I'm stuck. My kids are stuck. Come get us. And that would do it. See, Anne Hathaway's smart. She would have done that. She would have done that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Matt, give me a grade. What are you thinking for The End of Oak Street?
I'm gonna give it a B. I think it's a solid film. It's a lot of fun. Not perfect, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I gave it a B plus myself.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, folks. Again, though, if you're taking the kids, it is really kind of unusually violent at times. Almost, I don't want to say out of nowhere, but it's just prepare yourself. There's going to be a couple moments, and it is PG-13. So I was kind of surprised, but there's a couple, I don't know, even audio stuff, some crunching and squishing when dinosaurs eat people that are pretty. But hey, it's off screen, and as long as nobody's doing it, I guess the MPA is not going to have any issues. Though there is that one scene with the dinosaurs doing it, but I guess it wasn't too graphic for the MPAA to be concerned about. That's weird. All right, if you've got a chance to see The End of Oak Street, we'd love to hear from you. Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Matt, let's talk about what's coming up on physical media this upcoming Tuesday. I'll try and speedrun this because it is a massive, massive week.
I thought I seen some mean little gals in my time, but you're the meanest. You want to know how I know how mean you are? 'Cause I'm mean. I'm smart and I'm mean. And you're smart and you're mean. And you never get caught and I never get caught.
I know what you think. I know everything you think. Nobody believes anything you say.
You want to know what you done after you hit him? You jerked the metal off his shirt. And then you roll that sweet little boy off that wharf among them pilings.
You don't know anything. None of what you said is true.
You know I'm telling the gospel truth. You know I've got it figured out.
You figured out something that never happened, and so it's all lies. Now take your Excelsior down to the basement and put it where you can sleep on it when you're supposed to be working.
The excellent The Bad Seed is being released, not in 4K, but they did a brand new 4K restoration of it, but they just put it on a Blu-ray disc, so I'm a little concerned about that. But Warner Archive is putting out the great The Bad Seed on Blu-ray with a brand new restoration. I don't know. I'm thinking of sitting tight and seeing if they actually put out a 4K disc of this at some point in the future. If you haven't seen The Bad Seed, it's a lot of fun and very dark, considering when the film was made. So, all right, let's start it up.
Number 5.
I'm going to go with He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, Matt. The all-new Blu-ray. They have some new HD transfers of the original animated series, which also includes The Secret of the Sword, which introduced She-Ra, as well as a Christmas special that they did with She-Ra as well. I bought that set digitally like a year or two ago because it was like, I don't know, $14.99 or even $10 maybe. So I have them all that way. But if you're a physical media guy, there's your chance to order these brand new Blu-ray version of the classic animated series.
4.
Also, Matt, we're going to be talking about The Mandalorian and Grogu being released in 4K. There's a steelbook you can buy for $45, and then they have what's referred to as the Steel Beskar Collector's Edition, which comes with 2 metal posters. And there's like a little rectangle thing in it. I can't make out what it is. I went to the Disney website. Everything I checked out would not tell me what it was. So I have no idea. $220. Could you imagine spending $220 for The Mandalorian and Grogu in 4K? You really got to be a big fan of that thing. Matt and I think it's fair to say we were unimpressed with that movie. It includes an audio commentary by Favreau, the director, and then a few making of featurettes.
Get 3 coffins ready.
Carolina Caroline, featuring Samara Weaving and Kyle Gallner, is being released. She plays a young woman who joins a charming con man on the run, leaving a trail of crime and passion as they hustle through the Southeast in search of her estranged mother. It's a little indie film that I heard, I think, some good things about.
Well, you two lovebirds take it easy, okay?
Alliance is putting out The Sheep Detectives, featuring Hugh Jackman. Supposed to be one of the more heartwarming and fun family-ish friendly movies of the year. Jackman plays a shepherd who reads murder mysteries to his sheep at night, but then he is killed, and it's up to the sheep and the other animals to solve the mystery. They're anamorphized, Matt? Is that the right word? Where they basically they can talk to each other and do things and stuff like that. Anthropomorphized, thank you. So it's supposed to be really, really good.
There can be only one.
Number 1, I'm going to go with Disclosure Day. Steven Spielberg's latest, the most Spielbergian film I think he's done in a little while, but still, as we said at the time, I think a few miles off the old fastball. Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos, a making of featurette, and another one on Spielberg and John Williams, a legendary collaboration. Some other stuff being released in 4K. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. This is a film featuring Rachel McAdams that came out a few years ago, is now getting a 4K release, though it doesn't have Dolby Vision, just an Atmos track. Practical Magic, Matt, is getting that sequel's coming out soon, so they're putting that out in 4K as a steelbook version as well, if you prefer. Includes the audio commentary featuring Griffin Dunn and Chandra Bullock from back in the day. And so, yeah, you can pick that up. A film I remember watching, being not that excited about, that some people like it. Identity is being released by Arrow. This is the one with John Cusack and Ray Liotta and Amanda Peet, where the 10 people show up at this room like during a savage rainstorm, and they're transporting a killer, and there's all these different people there, and it ends up, I don't want to spoil it for you if you haven't seen it. It's mostly okay. Dolby Vision included on that, and as well as some deleted scenes. Shout Factory is putting out the cult classic, Matt, The Stuntman. I don't know if you've ever seen the Peter O'Toole film. But it's basically, there's a guy, he's a young veteran, and he's on the run from the police, and he accidentally causes the death of a stuntman on a set, and then the director basically then agrees to not reveal who he is and turn him in if he takes a stuntman's place. But then the director goes and makes more increasingly dangerous stunts, almost as if he's trying to kill him himself. Criterion is putting out a pair of films, Little Odessa, directed by James Gray. I believe it was a directorial debut featuring Tim Roth, Vanessa Redgrave, Maximilian Schell. To get a brand new 4K restoration of that, audio commentary from 2000 as well. And they're also putting out a brand new 4K restoration of Harlan County, the classic documentary. You can now pick it up in 4K. This is about the coal miner strike in the Brookside mine of the Eastover Mining Company in Harlan back in 1973. I remember watching this right around when I started getting to be a big kind of film geek, Matt, probably about like 20 plus years ago or so is when fantastic documentary. If you haven't seen Harlan County, absolutely. If you haven't blind by it, you're going to love it. Also being released, a couple steel books, The Saint, the Val Kilmer film, the brand new 4K restoration of that, as well as Enemy at the Gates. Both of these are steelbook 4K releases. Vinegar Syndrome is putting out a bunch of stuff now you can pick up, though I think one of these may already be sold out. No, you know what it was? One that was sold out. I didn't grab it because I just don't. Faces of Death 3 has already sold out on their website, so you can't get it. But the Abel Ferrara version of Body Snatchers is being released in 4K, which is a good version of the Body Snatchers. This one is set on a military base with, was it Jennifer Tilly? Where are you going to go? What you going to do? Just a fantastic little line delivery from her. 2-disc set on that. Dolby Vision included a brand new audio commentary track and a bunch of new interviews. They're also putting out is it a cult classic? A lot of people like The Lady in White. You get a brand new I always thought it was just okay. Lucas Haas stars in that. It's a 4-disc set. You get 3 versions of the film in 4K, I believe. No, maybe not. Just 3 versions. The first with 126-minute pre-release director's cuts in 4K, and then 118-minute extended home video cut, and the 113-minute theatrical cut are in Blu-ray. So only the director's cut is in 4K. A new group commentary track with the writer-director Frank LaLoggia, alongside Lucas Haas, Joel Jacoby, and Len Carew that were included just for this pre-release director's cut that's part of this set. A couple other new audio commentaries, a whole bunch of interviews, making of featurettes, and more. So if you're a Lady in White fan, this is like the definitive set. The Deluxe Limited Edition has a 40-page book that will not be included in the standard edition. They're also putting out the comedy classic I'm Gonna Get You, Sucka, a brand new audio commentary track on that one. You get the film in 4K with Dolby Vision, a whole bunch of new interviews as well. But I think the comedy that kind of burst the Wayans onto the scene, and I think they relayed this to get to In Living Color and stuff. But basically kind of the Black Dynamite before Black Dynamite, right? Kind of the spoof takeoff of the blaxploitation classic films. And then the underrated, underseen, but I think still very, very good slasher film from the 80s, Night School, being released in 4K as well. You get a brand new audio commentary track on that, 2 of them, in fact, as well as 3 interviews. And then finally, Matt, Severin is releasing a bunch of films in 4K. A little harder finding some of the details on this, but Autopsy of Jane Doe, Fulci's The Black Cat, The classic Giallo, What Have They Done to Solange, which if you buy it from Severin includes a soundtrack CD of Ennio Morricone's score. And then I think the underrated remake, and I think it's better than the original. Blasphemy, I'm sure, for some people. But the remake of Maniac from 2012, starring Elijah Wood, is released in 4K as part of this offering from Severin as well. Then, Matt, just for you, are you ready? I have an announcement. I haven't done this in a long time, but just because of the title, I had to do it. Your straight to DVD pick of the week, Matt. 12 years ago, during a scientific expedition, 3 animal biologists stumbled upon a great discovery that ended in tragedy. Whatever killed them has awoken, and now the legend of the ancient snow beast could prove to be more than just legend. Matt, what is the title of this film? Well, no, just tell me this. What is this snow beast? Take a guess what the monster is.
The Abominable Snowman?
You're thinking too inside the box, my friend. Way too inside the box.
Frosty the Snowman.
Matt, Snow Shark, Ancient Snow Beast is being released this upcoming Tuesday. Stay tuned for the stinger if you want to get a taste for what you'd be dealing with. I watched the trailer for this thing, and it is just wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So, I don't think straight to DVD pick is going to be a staple return, but I saw that title and I watched that trailer and I had to absolutely give it some flowers there. So, Snow Shark, Ancient Snow Beast. Matt, what's coming up next week on the big show?
That
calendar is wrong.
Okay. The calendar is wrong. Then I don't know if the calendar is wrong because that's what I rely on. Let's see what. Oh shit! I bought a movie tonight. I forgot they had one of those Scream Unseen events tonight, and I actually bought a ticket. We'll see if I actually end up going.
Oh well, we were supposed to do Insidious Out of the Further, which I don't care for. There is a new Jason Statham film called Mutiny, but I think if you go back to the way this show originally started, which I think it was see it in the theater or wait for physical media.
Yeah.
This is before mass streaming, folks, by the way.
Right.
I think I'm at a point in my Jason Statham watching career that I'm happy watching his movies at home.
Fair enough.
No, Matt, we had to delay it. It's Teenage Sex and Death at Camp.
Oh.
Miasma.
Oh, nice. Okay. There you go.
It is. It's dropping here for sure. I think it's going to be with you as well. So we'll have to double check that. But in fact, you know what? I have my AMC app open right now. How have you fared with those hidden or those hidden features or whatever they're called? You don't appear to have it.
Not yet, anyway. It could still come around, but we'll see. I've only been to one of them. I only ever go to the horror ones. I forgot what the one that I saw was, though. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't anything that I was super excited about.
Okay. Fair enough. It Ends is supposed to come out too. That one's supposed to be pretty good. That's the one when the kids go on the road. And then
right.
So there's that. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is on the 18th because it's, I guess that's the day that shows up in the the crawl there.
Yeah.
I don't really care for. I don't think I want to see Tony, the Anthony Bourdain film.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully we're going to do Sex and Death.
Okay.
So we'll see how that runs out. In the meantime, you can check us out at. Oh wait, no. I'm jumping ahead. I missed the. I totally.
Yeah, we were. I was a little surprised there. I was like, wait, didn't we skip something? And now I just realized what it was. I was refamiliarizing myself with X-Men cast news just to make sure I was ready to talk about this.
All right, let's do it. All right, Matt, you don't have to worry about editing it. We'll just leave my absolute neglect in outlining my show notes today. Because this was a last-minute edition. We're going back and forth about doing this, and we thought we'd just talk about it briefly. And I'm more interested in talking about what it all means, more so than the cast. So But you want to run down, though, who are our new X characters? Or
Sure. So we have Sadie Sink as Jean Grey, which we already saw in Spider-Man. Samara Weaving as Emma Frost, a.k.a. the White Queen, which we knew about as well. We have Indy Navarrete from Obsession playing Rogue, which is an interesting choice to me. Just not her playing Rogue, more that Rogue is going to be in the X-Men, and we're not going to get like guys like Iceman and stuff like that. And then some people that I don't know who they are. Kit Connor as Cyclops, a woman named Maya Boyd, who I guess is a Broadway actor, as Storm.
Yep.
And then somebody named Christopher Abbott as Professor X. Again, I'm not familiar with his work, but we are getting also Adam Driver as Mr. Sinister.
Wait a minute. You know who Christopher Abbott is. He was the that werewolf movie we did. They tried to reboot when Lee Whannell did the werewolf.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, it's not like it was great. So
Wolfman, I should
Wolfman.
say. Yeah, Wolfman.
Okay.
He was in the Craven movie that you would not stop raving about.
So you'll forgive me if I
Poor
blocked
things.
out most of these films.
Yeah, I don't know what your problem is,
Right.
bro. All right, he was in Possessor. He was there. One of you love Possessor.
Loved. I liked it more than you did.
I don't know if that's a word. Yeah, you could really use to describe that movie. Yeah. So what do you think? So what do you think about going with? All right, here's what I'm stuck on. Because we know with Doomsday, most of the original people are coming back, right? So Ian McKellen and Sir Patrick Stewart, I guess they're both sirs, are supposed to be back, right? I don't know if Kelsey Grammer is Beast or if
I've
it's
heard that.
Holt or
Yeah.
But a lot of those people are coming back to play. So I don't know. Have you watched the Doomsday teaser stuff that they've been playing as well?
Yeah, I just watched the
Does it seem
D23 one that came out from a day or two ago.
Pascal's Mr. Fantastic. Like, what did you do, Victor? What did
Yeah.
you do? So here's my working theory. Is that he's jumping from reality to reality or dimension to dimension. I don't know. Was he trying to? From what I understand, he kills the devil or beats him, and because his whole origin, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that he's obsessed with rescuing his mother from the clutches of the devil, and maybe that's what he's doing. He's going from reality to reality to try and find his family and destroying everything in his path. So we know at the end of Thunderbolts, New Avengers, or maybe it's the end of Fantastic Four. I can't remember at this point. I think it was Fantastic Four, that the New Avengers are there and they're coming to this MCU reality, which I can't remember what reality that is. It's 616 or something like that.
Yeah, the main one's 616.
So I'm thinking they're hopping from dimension to dimension, chasing Victor because he's going around destroying worlds.
Right.
And they're getting a head start and coming to 616 to warn people. So that the beginning of Doomsday. So is that what's going to be? Is he's going to go to whatever I guess I'll say Fox. I was about to say Bryan Singer. I don't want to do that. The Fox X-Men franchise. He's going to go to that world and then just kill Ian McKellen, Stewart, all those. He's going to destroy that world. And then these are the X-Men that are actually in 616.
I think so.
The Kit Connors and the Emmas.
Yeah,
and all
I think that's what's going to happen. And I think, from that teaser, right? I mean, they show when Thor is fighting him or whatever, that I'm assuming if it's the same scene, right? He causes all the Sentinels to rise back up or whatever. So that implies that it's the Fox X-Men or whatever that he's in at that point. Whether Thor's there or not, that could be a MacGuffin.
Yeah, or maybe they recruit them to go to that world to try and stop him. It doesn't work, so now they have to fall back to 616 and then prepare for that battle. I'm assuming guess is what's going to happen.
That's probably what happened.
Or does that are we jumping from world to world in that, and then it's Secret Wars? And I want to know what's version. I never read the newer version. I am the Jim Shooter Secret Wars time frame. I didn't read the newer version. So I don't know what that one is. And then also too, is that how we work in symbiote Spider-Man? Actually get comic canon accurate?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot that's got to go on. I mean, so here's the thing. So they're bringing in the X-Men. They've got the Fantastic Four, right? They're going to start leaning on those franchises heavily. Obviously, Spider-Man is still a huge draw. People are going to want Miles Morales, right? I mean, there's a whole younger generation that's their
Right.
Spider-Man, so they're going to have to bring him in.
And is that the Space Spider-Man?
Maybe,
do you think?
maybe. We'll even see what happens with Spider-Woman, Ghost Spider, whatever, Spider-Gwen. That's a very popular character too. So we'll see about how they're going to bring all that in. I think they're obviously going to they had to go with the multiverse to kind of bring all these disparate threads in. Now they're kind of, okay, it wasn't as interesting as we hoped it would be. Let's collapse it all together and get everybody we want into a singular universe and then start over from there as a soft reboot. I think it's basically what they're trying to do.
Oh, so maybe the Beyonder will actually be in Secret Wars.
Maybe.
And then that will be like the catalyst to do all
Or even
that.
the Watcher. I mean, we know that the What Ifs are canon, so to the MCU, maybe something like that. Maybe Jeffrey Wright and his voice as the Watcher will come back.
Why not just recast Kang?
That's a great question. I have a lot of questions about that. Why not just recast people? But they
recasted Rhodey. What's the big deal?
I agree with you. I don't see why they don't just recast Kang. The only thing I can figure is that all of those films, for the most part, especially the ones that dealt with Kang, were not particularly well received. And I think the only thing that people got excited for was the end of that first season of Loki. And they're like, oh man, this is going to be good. And then everything that followed after it was not great.
Because I was watching something online, and the guy was going through what the original plans were and how Immortus was going to show up, and then the Scarlet Centurion was going to show up. Like all the different Kang variations were going to show up at the end of these other films, or be villains in these other things. And obviously that all got booted because of all the, the horrible stuff that accusations about John Majors. So whose career has taken a really interesting turn if you have seen what he's doing right now. But I don't know why. I guess maybe that explains it. Maybe they weren't getting the excitement from the audience. But I think there's more because there weren't really great projects.
Yeah. And I guess
I don't blame it on Kang's feet. I think it weren't well done.
Yeah, but I mean, Kang at the same time, Kang is not outside of comic book circles, is probably not the most well-known villain. If you spent billions of dollars to get Dr. Doom back, you're going to be like one of the great villains of the entire Marvel universe who everybody knows. That's what you do.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Back to it. I'm fine with this cast for the most part. I'm unaware. I know Kit Connor, but I can't place him. But and Maya Boyd was the only one I'd never really heard of before. And you're good going with Mr. Sinister as our first villain. And also the big question for you is, when should they introduce Wolverine? I think they should pocket him for at least a film.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with Mr. Sinister, right? Obviously, they've done Magneto to death. They've already done Apocalypse, right? And I think that's like the last big X-Men villain that they can go with that has never really been seen before. So I think that's really the best way to do it. I'm a little, we've got Storm, we've got Cyclops and Jean Grey. But again, Rogue is just a weird choice to me. So, especially with no Gambit, right? No Iceman, like these people that she has relationships with. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm really was looking forward to seeing some of the more iconic ones, but I'll take what I can get at this point. But although I love Samara Weaving, so I'm very excited she's going to play Emma Frost.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I wonder how comic accurate they're going to represent her. One of the most ridiculous costume designs. Not Power Girl bad, I guess, but still, she's basically in lingerie and a cape.
Right. Yes. I mean, the comic explanation for this is that this is on purpose, that she does this. You can believe what you want, but I mean, at the same time, the reason that Power Girl has a boob window is because she doesn't feel like she deserves to wear the S, right? Why it's just not solid, I don't know, but she has a boob window.
And that's retconned. That's not. That's like a relatively new explanation.
At least they tried to come up with something. I guess C for effort on that one.
Yeah. So all right, and you think too? You're with me then. They should wait, get us a good film or two, and then bring in Wolverine. Let the group get established before one of the largest stars in the history of comics is introduced.
I think so.
I don't know if they can wait. I don't know if they have the patience for that, or if the fans even do. I don't know. But it'd make that moment, I think, even bigger.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of teased out Weapon X at the end of like the first true X-Men movie, right? It's like a post trailer or a post credits thing. But I think they should tease it out. Wait.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. All right. Any other thoughts?
No. Like I said, I love the X-Men. There are a lot of X-Men that I would have rather have seen, whether that was Iceman or Magic or Kitty Pryde or Colossus, but I'll take what I can get.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes, folks. In the meantime, what are your thoughts on the X-Men casting announcements? Where do you think the MCU is going? Feedback at thefirstrun.com. And now I can say you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Blue Sky, as well as Letterboxd. Do a search for The First Run. Scroll. Eventually you'll find us. On Letterboxd, actually, I'm at Chris Galzo, Matt's at Thurston. And then what else? Thefirstrun.com. Did I say that yet? Archives of all the old shows, a report card, which is pretty up to date now. And there's a little player. You can just get on the site, hit play, and I'll start rifling through episodes. And then I feel like I'm forgetting some. Oh, yeah, Apple Podcasts. Head on over to Apple Podcasts, give us a review. It'll help other people find the show. And I think now I'm done. So thank you for listening as always. We love you all very much. Take care. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon.
She's dead. Who did this to you? Snout Shark.